Win for Spanish Fort police and law enforcement all across the country.
Yeah, the hunt is over for the so-called TikTok trickster, an accused serial con artist.
Yeah, investigators say he preyed on women. Fox News reporter Ashlyn Mitchell first told you about this. And Ashlyn, you say he was taken into custody finally today.
Yes, he was, Lenise and Byron. And Spanish Fort PD says 54-year-old Brenton Fillers was tracked down at a hospital in Lexington, Kentucky around 9 this morning. Police say other stories like these, like the one we did weeks ago, actually played a major role in his capture.
The only way we would have gotten this is through the media attention. We knew somebody as prolific as him. He's a con artist. He moves around the country, that he's only going to be caught by somebody seeing pictures of him and going, wow, that's the guy my friend's talking to or I am talking to.
The hunt for the TikTok trickster, 54-year-old Brenton Fillers, is finally over. Police say Fillers left a trail of crime over the past 30 years, disguising himself under false names. They say he meets women on social media, steals their money, and moves on to the next victim.
He's a criminal. He's a lowlife. He's a predator. He is not only on top of everything I've told you about from a con artist standpoint, he is wanted for the rape of an 11-year-old boy in Texas. And so what's scary to me is that he is living with these women, visiting these women. They have kids as well. We have finally put him in custody, but he's been in custody 30+ times before. This needs to be his last stop.
Chief Barber tells me a victim in Texas saw a news story on Fillers and reached out.
The victim messaged me and said, look, I didn't want to say anything in front of my son and my friend. I sent him a lot of money. I said, well, how much is a lot of money? She said, $42,000 in 3 weeks. I said, $42,000. How did you send it to him? Cash to an address in Kentucky on 3 different packages. And so now we had an address in Kentucky.
Shortly after, another victim in Kentucky caught wind of this story too.
They went to a local department in Kentucky and went, my gosh, this guy's been living with me for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I had no idea who he was. He took, in this case, only $240. We ended up converging yesterday from 2 different angles, from 2 different victims.
With this lead, police located Fillers at a hospital in Lexington for a medical issue unrelated to the case. Earlier this month, we spoke to Trisha of Spanish Fort, one of Fillers' alleged victims, who's now breathing a sigh of relief.
Just an amazing feeling and comfort, and just knowing that he's finally caught and that he's finally going to, be punished for his crimes and serve his time or whatever it may be. And instead of traveling all over the place in other one's cars that he's stealing and their money, he can travel around in shackles and handcuffs for all I care. I just think we would all get such gratification of seeing the look on his face if he could see all his victims in one room.
Meanwhile, Chief Barber is asking all victims to come forward to bring Fillers to justice. If you take a look at this map behind me right here, you can actually see Fillers' path over a 2-week period in March. He's been everywhere. Police say just because he's been arrested in Kentucky doesn't mean he hasn't committed crimes in other states. Barber says when he's released, he'll likely be taken to Texas, where again he's wanted for the alleged sexual assault of an 11-year-old boy. Reporting live in studio, Ashlyn Mitchell, Fox 10 News.